Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Ms.Yuvati Shah, Dr. Sheetal Bhoola, Mr. Spiwe Mchunu, Mr. Piyush Khandelwal, and online viewers. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the 7th episode of Pravasi Samvaad, a Diaspora dialogue. Our guest speaker today is Ms.Yuvati Shah, who will be interviewed by Dr. Sheetal Bhoola. Dr. Bhoola is an academic and research scholar. She holds 2 master's degrees and a PhD in the social sciences and has a growing publication record. A little background on Ms. Yuvati Shah. Multifaceted Yuvati Shah began her career as a skin care therapist. For the last 20 years, Yuvati has been managing her beauty spa and designing jewelry. She is also a very talented painter. One of her prized pieces of art include a painting of Madiba for the Mandela family. I now invite Dr. Bhoola to conduct the interview. Thank you.
Namaskar and namaste and a warm welcome to you. And as for our artist and guest of honor here and our creative lady, dynamic, multi-talented, and I think somebody that we can aspire to with dual careers, welcome, Ms. Yuvati Shah. And what an honor to have you here today.
Thank you, Sheetal. It is just such a pleasure to be here and to be on this platform. I'm very thrilled indeed.
Yes, and I think more importantly, if you look at the struggles historically women have had, your journey, the fact that you've come from an Indian heritage background, you're multitasking in your career. We've got 2 and 3 careers that are growing simultaneously and parallel to one another. And if you look at your life as a beauty therapist, you've got a career as a jewelry designer, and of course, you're a flourishing artist as well. How do you perceive life? What does life mean to you?
Life is a creative journey for me. I'm constantly surrounded by all these various artistic influences, and I thoroughly enjoy it because from the jewelry design, which my granddad had begun, my dad had continued, and I'm a third generation jewelry designer. I mean, when you look at hands-on being a therapist, there's a different type of touch and sense and diverse artistic expression in that alone. So coupled with all these different forms, I love expressing myself in these various forms, and it gives me immense pleasure.
Just to alert somebody that's aspiring a young jewelry designer, what qualifications did you pursue? And what took you in that direction?
So as a jewelry designer, I had done my apprenticeship with my father in his factory. And I found that alone had given me such great depth in the industry. And the reason I say this is because I have firsthand knowledge of how items are manufactured from the moment that it's taken from the design, from the artwork, and then cultivated and created and formed into this actual piece. I'm blessed to have been part of that process and being allowed to be involved and understand that processes as they go through. So I would say, look, you could definitely do there's various online art courses out there. I personally continued by pursuing diamond grading because that I felt for me was a strength, and I needed to be able to understand the various facets of jewelry design, and diamond grading itself gave me that opportunity to just diversify myself in that manner. So I would say whoever is looking for something specific to jewelry design, there's many different forms. You can even reach out to me and I can give you a few options that's available to you.
Oh, wonderful. And if we have to switch over to life as a beauty therapist, and I know for a fact you've always had a passion for excellent skincare. Tell us a bit.
So with skincare, my mother's a skincare therapist, and I was always exposed to that growing up. And this was important to me because I've watched both my parents in these various industries work so hard and artistically involved in their own industries. And with my mom, I found that I just naturally grew towards it. You know, the people person, being able to want to assist someone in specific areas of their form, whether it be de-stressing, cultivating sort of a nurtured feeling towards health and wellness and well-being. So that's my my thought process in skincare therapy, beauty, and body spa therapy.
And so you've got this dual career, and you still manage to find a space for your artistic and creativity that comes out in your artwork, your painting. And where does that come from? Tell us a bit. What are the roots of that, and how is that journey formed, and where did it begin?
My earliest memory was in primary school, when and I haven't shared this story with too many people, when I was given the opportunity to create a drawing, and well, the whole class did it, but mine was picked out as the best at that period. And I think that for me alone was just a first stepping stone to understanding that I had something, a gift, a talent, something to be grateful for. And at that point, I think my family, friends assisted me in nurturing that and cultivating it. And I just blossomed with art. And, it's another form of expression for me.
Absolutely. So we see a strong creative path here. And so we know for a fact, let's look at the woman and her lifestyle. Right, you're a mother, you're a daughter-in-law, you're a daughter, you're a wife, and what I think puts you on the pedestal out there today is the fact that you've got a dual career and you've got a passion which you've turned into a career as well. So tell us a bit about your challenges.
So life has its challenges, I know, for everyone. There's their ups and downs, but I think for me, it's about being able to be resilient in your specific area of challenge. So I find that at this moment in my life, I draw from it positivity as opposed to being bogged down by the negativity. So when I'm faced with a challenge, I find that I address it in the best way possible. I explore opportunity within that and make sure that I come out on the other end with a positive experience that I can go forward with growth.
Anything in particular to describe to us in terms of or depict a challenge or adversity, or something that really molded you, impacted your personality or your journey? Anything in particular?
I would say my experience abroad. I was given the experience of traveling abroad, studying abroad, and I'm so blessed and grateful for that, to my parents for allowing me at such a very young, tender age, especially coming from an Indian community of that time, we're talking 22 years ago, that I was allowed to, as a young lady, explore the world. And that alone allowed me to strengthen myself as an individual, gave me that confidence that I'm sure everyone at that age is yearning for and needing. And as a mom, I made sure at this point in my life, I'm also instilling the same type of behavior in my child, making sure that she sees my mom is strong, she can diversify and explore, but also overcome and achieve in the ways that I've learned as a young child.
Any highlights thus far? So years of hard work, dedication, growth. Anything you want to share highlights?
I think highlights for me in my life has been the time spent with my granddad. And it is an emotional topic for me because he is one of the reasons that, I'm inspired so greatly by jewelry and that artistic side of me. And he was always the individual that pushed me to explore, not hold back and stay in a bubble. And I appreciate that from him because he was such an explorative personality when it came to jewelry manufacturing. There was no boundaries. So I think the time as a child and a grandparent, that relationship for me has been quite a nurturing, cultivating type of period in my life. And I thoroughly am blessed to have had that.
And when you talk about jewelry design, tell us about the connotation, the link that takes you back to your Indian heritage. Are your designs very much inspired by India, your culture? Where are you going when you work with your designs? Tell us, where does the creativity come from? What are you aiming to achieve? How does it come about?
So in this time in my life, I find that it is all about the individual that I'm sitting with. And I love that. And I'm so passionate about that because yes, there's certain elements of Indian culture and heritage that I do impart on as I'm sitting down with the client, because that I've been exposed to most of my life growing up in my granddad's workshop, in my dad's factory. Those are little bits and trinkets of nuggets of gold, I could say, that I have sort of built into my design experience. But when I do sit down with an individual, it is all about that client. And I think that's the important part for me, is that I'm listening and I'm understanding and I'm being able to interpret exactly what that client requires from me, requires from the design, and most importantly, that end result that they would like to achieve in the piece.
Oh, wow. So you're all about the personalization, the personality, the customization. And you look towards India, your inspiration coming from granddad. And I would imagine initially, if you look at Ashok Jewelers, the brand itself, very much Indian roots. Anything you want to elaborate there?
Roots, again, that third generation of having that opportunity to have the first-hand experience, like I've mentioned, being in the factory. And again, it is such an experience that I don't think I would have been able to gain that anywhere else but in the time period that I had, gone through in my life. And I think just having all of that passed down from generations and that work experience, and I think for me, that has been treasure for me.
No, absolutely. And you speak about your grandfather, you speak about the inspiration you've drawn from him. How would you define and understand, maybe share a bit with us, on a personal side, the role your family and friends play in your life, in terms of your overall growth in your career and on your personal life as well?
So family and friends for me, they play such an integral part, because you as an individual, say myself, I'm constantly developing my personality on areas of growth that I'm learning from the individuals around me. They say, I'm sure everybody talks about surrounding yourselves with like-minded individuals, but I'm lucky to have been around, and my friends and family are all pushing boundaries. So like-minded, yes, but they also excelling in their specific areas of industry. And that for me has been what I've pulled and drawn, and that confidence and positivity that I've taken from the people around me. It's all been important. And I think as a designer, as an individual, as a person, I would say to anyone, that's what you need to look at from the people around you. Draw the best. Draw what you can utilize in your period, in your time, and how can you grow and address your adversities at that period.
Okay. And values, if you look at your personal value hierarchy, share with us. What are your values as a person, as a businesswoman, as an artist?
Core values are integral. It's about doing good, being good. Values are what make us who we are. It gives us that embodies our true spirit and our nature as an individual. And I think that I'm lucky to again have been surrounded by individuals that had managed to mold those values for me and give me the right foundation. So I'm doing the same with my daughter, and it's about making sure that you are positive in your way of thinking. You are doing the best that you can for individuals around you, as well as your growth and internal experiences.
And if you look at, of course, Indian culture on your personal life, your career, put that into perspective for us.
When you say culture, you mean
our heritage, the life ways, the cultural values that have been grown up with, the sense of rather having a family value, values of sharing, lifestyle, life way, whether it be food, dress, art, any way that you are still engaging actively, creating that cultural space in your life.
Again, this is so important to me, because having a young daughter of 8, I'm making sure that whatever I've managed to be surrounded with, those cherished moments in the year where culture is celebrated, making sure those points in the year are so important, and exposing her to that, as well as embracing it myself. These things again nurture us as an individual, and I think culture has to play a big part. It's absolutely important in the growth of a human being, of an individual, and I'm lucky to be around that as well.
No, absolutely, and I think central to being Indian African, and I think interesting times we are living in South Africa as well, where we, at the one hand, we want to collaboratively identify as South Africans. At the same time, we also don't want to let go of our heritage, our culture, our roots, and very central to being Indian. If I had to say to you, how would you define just being Indian in your personal space based on your personal life? How would you unpack that for me? What does that mean to you?
So this is something I would say in my paintings I do have challenged with constantly, because I'm drawn from being proudly South African to having that Indian heritage and wanting to have both of them come together and collaborate in a piece. And I think now I've just kind of let go, and I've allowed myself to just explore each individual sense, because it cannot just be one or the other. We're so lucky to have all these various style, textures, cultures, colors in our life, being exposed to all these various things. And I think, so for me, being able to explore both of that and then bringing both of that together, I can't deny it. It's so important. It's neither one of the other.
Oh, and any spiritual dimensions that you draw from that you'd like to share with us?
So at the moment, it's about mindset, positive mindset. I'm wanting to be more explorative in all my avenues of artistic ability, and I'm open to everything at the moment. So making sure that my mindset is positive, and I'm exploring everything individually and nurturing myself as an individual. So yeah, that's really my passion at the moment, is following each individual industry, but having them come together as I could say in one package as I am.
So, I mean, if you look at all the youth out there that are all aspiring to be young artists, young designers, even young beauty therapists. I mean, today you are managing a very well-renowned spa in Durban. It's got a national reputation. You've got guests that come to you from Johannesburg, Cape Town. You're associated with a very upmarket, locality-wise, with a very upmarket hotel. And you're delivering good standards all around. How would you advise younger generations that want to diversify careers, go into creative spaces like you have had? Tell us.
I would say persevere. If you have an idea, which I had many years ago, I made sure I formulated that idea. I made sure that I managed to explore each dimension of those ideas and never gave up. I think the most important thing is, even when you hit your hurdles and they might not be what you want to hear, we as humans, we always want a positive outcome, but we always faced with small hurdles along the way, and it's how we handle these hurdles and how we can overcome that. So to other individuals out there, be positive. Don't let these smaller things get you down along your journey. Your journey is so much larger than what you may think it is. And it's about being able to overcome that and focus on what new outcomes can come out in the future of your progression. So that would be my take home, is just make sure you keep that positive mindset. Don't give up, keep your core values, be true to yourself, and remain humble, because I think in every aspect, I'm blessed in every aspect, but I still am who I am, and I won't ever let anything interfere with that. So I think that's just my take home.
And I mean, if you look at your artwork in particular, and you look at your skills developed there, and if you look at your whole progression of skill development, so if we go to your paintings, as an artist, what have you got in particular now in terms of skill development? What have you got to share with our younger generations out there?
So that's always an explorative avenue for me. I've got a few behind me here. I'm constantly changing the way I approach my art, my paintings. You know, there's so many artists out there that have found their avenues. They've managed to define themselves in the best way that they are, and I'm at that explorative stage where I'm still loving all the various aspects, the textures, the colors, the styles, the forms, and I'm allowing myself to just be more creative with my works of art. And I'm blessed to also be able to have individuals that come to me and ask for commissioned pieces, because again, that in itself is a way for me to explore, but using a different style, a different approach. And I'm thoroughly enjoying that.
Don't you want to just show us one of your pieces behind you so we could have
a... Sure. This is just a little one of my very quick painting of my daughter in her fun-loving self. But yeah, I love portraits. I love various forms of art. Yeah.
And from where to from here? So now you've got immense talent in your hands. I mean, you're an artisan through and through in terms of jewelry design, in terms of artwork, painting. You know how to handle brushstrokes. What are your future aspirations? Where to from here?
There are many little avenues that I'm exploring. It's so exciting. It's so, the ability to be able to be in these different aspects or different industries. I'm looking forward to the future and forward to whatever avenues come my way, or whatever new ventures come my way. And I think for me, it's just focusing on my jewelry design, making sure that I'm honing in on the talent, the art form, and cultivating that to the best of my ability. So making sure that I'm the best of who I am in my industry.
And as an artist, are we going to see your work on an international platform? What are you? Are we going to looking forward to exhibitions in the next few years? Or what are the wishes?
I would love that. I've already had the privilege of having displayed my jewelry abroad, so on a platform, international platform, supporting South Africa, representing South Africa. That was an amazing opportunity. And yes, I would love to have that done with the art. So I think for me right now is to make sure my head's down, focusing on a nice, strong body of artwork. And hopefully in the future, yes, absolutely, many art exhibitions. And you'll all be invited.
Oh, fabulous. And anything you want to leave us with? We understand now who Yuvati Shah is, the creative drive. It's a hallmark name within the KZN region in terms of jewelry design. The artwork is getting out there. Anything in particular? One last message to your viewers that you'd want to share?
One last message is be who you wish to be. Follow your inner voice. Don't deny yourself of that opportunity. I think a lot of the individuals out there, they tend to wait, and waiting is not going to get you anywhere. So just explore your avenues, be truthful to who you are, and enjoy everything that you're doing. Have fun. At the end of the day, whatever we do, we must be passionate about it first and foremost.
Oh, thank you. I know today was an ask to take you out of your busy schedule, 2 careers, and you're multitasking every day. So, I mean, with a lot of gratuity, Yuvati, thank you so much today for making time to be with us.
Thank you for having me.
And yes, and it's been, I think, very insightful. And I must also share with you also, we've got international viewers as well now. So, so growth and beyond, and gratitude on behalf of the center. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
Thank you for that enlightening discussion, Dr. Bhoola and Yuvati ji. Really very interesting. We have now come to the end of the program. I would like to invite my colleague, Mr. Sipiwe Mchunu from the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India, Durban, to render the vote of thanks this evening.
On behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, it gives me a great pleasure today to deliver a vote of thanks on our episode 7 of the program, Pravasi Samvaad Diaspora Dialogue. Today we had a wonderful interactions between Dr. Sheetal Bhoola, Dhanyavad ma'am for conducting such a wonderful interactions, and also to Ms.Yuvati, Shah ji, Dhanyavad ma'am. The narrations of your story, you know, it gave us more information about yourself and about your hard work. That hard work, indeed, it pays. So to you, Yuvati ji, Dhanyavad ma'am. To Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Mr. Piyush Kandelwal, thank you very much for taking part on today's program. To all our online participants who took part on today's program, we'd like to say Dhanyavad for taking part in today's program. You are kindly advised to visit ICCR in Durban Facebook page for all cultural updates. So once again to Yuvati ji, Dhanyavad ma'am, Sheetal Bhoola ji, Dhanyavad ma'am. Till we meet again, have a wonderful evening. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.